Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. If you like the video today, please comment and share it. We'll surely appreciate it here on 100 Yards of Football. Today, our video is on the San Francisco 49ers from 1981 to 1995. What a run in professional football history. Very special thanks to my producer today, Mr. Logan Landis, for making it happen. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. And a gentleman who comes to us, a very talented writer for FirstRoundMark.com. He's also a diehard San Francisco 49ers fan. The very talented Mr. William Yanish III. So if you like the video, please comment and share it. Let's get to it. Mr. Yanish, with the big emblem on the screen today, SF, for the San Francisco 49ers. Tell us about this great run from 1981 to 1995.
This is a subject that we, broached the other day, talking about the 79 draft, and then, talking about Merton Hanks after that. And, it just brings back just the childhood memories of everything that was, sitting out. I was out in the Bay Area when I was a kid, and I don't know what it was. That was it. Was the San Francisco 49ers, and it had started in that 79 draft when they drafted Joe Montana in the third round. Bill Walsh come in and installed the West Coast system. It wasn't exactly his, but he is the one that perfected it and made this run possible. And drafting Joe Montana, everything is right there. If you watch any young quarterback, I can tell them to go watch Montana's footwork. It is the best footwork that has ever been on a football field, period. If you can get that in your head, you get things down. You don't do this wild, crazy off platform stuff until you have to. Before that, there's mechanics, everything else. And Montana, that's exactly what he did. It was precise. It was timing. Everything else, he didn't have to have a big arm. He just had to be accurate, everything on time, throwing with anticipation. That was Joe Montana to the T. And a lot of people, they say, oh well, that team was just stacked, everything else. And it's like we were just talking about, there was the Eagles, Cowboys, the Redskins, the Giants. Those are teams that literally, knocked the hell out of each other every Sunday for during the season. And it came down to injuries. It came down to this. That happened in 1990 when Montana got knocked out for the year. And Steve Young wasn't exactly ready to start at that time. And that took another year or two. And that was a problem because then the way, Steve Young was moving in, Walsh was, switching him at quarterback and doing the quarterback system. And it's like, what are you doing? And this came down to something that I didn't forgive the Niners for years, until recently. And I can say that with Brock Purdy. There was a rift between me and the Niners, and what happened, after Montana getting hurt and him being traded. I was 11 years old, and I felt slighted. I'm like, dude, no. So that was just an utter shock to my face, because nobody ever led the team. Free agency had just been implemented. They just had Plan B, and they're having problems with that, everything else. And that's kind of where this team went. Like I was saying, those players, that were there, the team wasn't so stacked so well as that scheme and that their attributes, that team worked together. That's why they were so good, is because of what they did for each other as a team. When everything came down and it, free agency started, what was that, 89? That it was just the beginning of a downhill thing, But, Montana ended up going to the Chiefs, and Steve Young comes in. About the time he was finally ready to start, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. I mean, posting the Chargers in '94. But like I said, I was kind of, I wasn't paying attention at that time. But yeah, no, man. Up until that time and what happened after that, I mean, the Niners were always respectable, but through the beginning part of '80 and just that whole time redefined what football is, today, and what Walsh did, as a coach, and there isn't too much more I can say about it, man. I mean, that's who they are, and that's who we are, and
It's
faithful to
we.
this
It's
day.
we now. We now. Okay, it's we. We're not a nation. We. Okay. Okay. Yes, sir. I'm gonna tell you about the San Francisco 49ers. When I think about that great run, in respect to you, Mr. William Yanish, I think of the word elite. The definition of elite: best, richest, powerful. 5 Super Bowls, regular season from '81 to 1995, 159 wins, 56 losses in one tie, 19-7 in the postseason, qualified for the playoffs 12 times, 11 NFC West titles, and only one losing season. 1980 49ers averaged 30 points a game. Won 3 Super Bowls by the combined score of 126-26. Beat Denver in the Super Bowl 55-10. Beat Miami in the Super Bowl 38-16 with the great Dan Marino. Destroyed San Diego 49-26. Steve Young, best game I think is a pro. That's what the word elite means. Did players go along with the word elite too? Jerry Rice, the greatest wide receiver that ever played the game. Ronnie Lott, one of the greatest defensive backs that ever played the game. Joe Montana, in somebody's eyes, no disrespect with Tom Brady, but still the greatest quarterback that played this game with 31 comeback wins. Steve Young, a backup quarterback. They ended up winning 2 MVPs with Joe Montana left. John Taylor, Ricky Waters, Charles Haley, Brian Young, Fred Dean, Jim Stuckey, Hacksaw Reynolds, Dwight Clark, and the great legend himself who should be in the Hall of Fame, Roger Craig. That's what the word elite. Kudos and respect to the San Francisco 49ers. Back to you, Mr. Yanish.
I've got to say I've always been a 49ers fan. My dad was friends with Billy Kilmer out there in San Francisco, in the early '60s, and had to try out. And that, like I said, it runs through my blood, and seeing it, like you said, elite, and just the whole story. I mean, what is going to, I mean, we're sitting here talking history, but I want to ask you something, Vince. I mean, you're a Cowboys fan, I'm a Niners fan.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
what do you see happening in the near future, in the NFC?
I see one organization, the Niners, are going to continuously win. Y'all haven't won the big game yet, but it's coming. It seems like y'all got everything in place. I got a lot of respect for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. Some very good football players out there. And y'all took a 7th-round draft pick, the last pick of the draft, and then put him into a system where he's became a star, Brock Purdy. You got 2 really, really explosive receivers in Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuels. Then y'all got an outstanding Pro Bowl tight end in George Kittle, one of the top 3 in the game. Then Christian McCaffrey might be one of the top 3 running backs in the game. Trent Williams, the best left tackle in the game. Fred Warner, one of the best linebackers in the game. Y'all got everything, man. I see the Niners stand on top of the NFC West and continuously going to the playoffs. But however, with my Dallas Cowboys, I just don't know, man. It boils down to one player under center. That's Dak Prescott. He's had a great career in Dallas, but I always tell Cowboys Nation, Dak Prescott's best season was his rookie year when he came in and took over for Tony Romo in Dallas with 13-3 and made the playoffs. Since that time, he's might have thrown for a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns. But when you look at this game, William, and we talk about this all the time, the great ones win championships. The great ones are MVPs of the Super Bowl. That's why my business partner, Mr. Ronnie Keebler, has a good point. A lot of people are down on Eli Manning. But when you look at it, Eli Manning is a champion. He's one of the best that ever played with 2 Super Bowl rings because he beat Tom Brady in the biggest game. My whole point, if the Cowboys are going to get to the top, it's got to be about Dak Prescott. Not about Michael Parsons, not about DeMarcus Lawrence. Where is Dak Prescott going to play well in big games? And I see the 49ers being the favorites to get back to the Super Bowl out of the NFC West. Because y'all got premier players at every position, and they are elite. Back to you, Mr. Yanish.
All right, man. You know, it's always my favorite game of the year, and if it's not scheduled during the regular season, man, then I want to see it in the playoffs every time, man, and I love it. So I'll just leave it at that, man.
If you like the video today, please comment and share. We surely appreciate it here on 100 Yards of Football. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. I'll be 64 years old in the beautiful month of July. A lot of people keep saying, why Vince keeps saying he's 64 years old? Well, I'm going to tell you why. The Lord has blessed me to watch the greatest game in sports, the NFL, professional football. And if you can't get up in the next few months, I think we got about, 90-something days for the first kickoff in college football, and the NFL coming right after that, I don't know what's wrong with you. Because this is the greatest game on earth, and it takes a real player to play this game. Y'all be blessed here on 100 Yards of Football. I've been your host, Vincent Turner, this evening. Joining me is the very talented William Yanish III, and once again to our producer, the very talented Mr. Lowe.